Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Dad jeans. Dad jeans.
You look like you're at an evening dinner party, and you might as well be wearing a tuxedo. And the new room suits you very well. It doesn't seem like it's 8 a.m. on a Sunday at all.
Thank you. That's sweet. Although my computer needs to be up like this because you're catching my double chins from this angle.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I don't see what you're talking about, but I understand the instinct that you're having.
Oh, the listeners will see it. They'll
hear it.
They'll hear it. They can hear my double chins.
They've been hearing mine for 6 years now.
Maybe I'll. It's just like in Brazil when the woman's getting the facelift.
A Canadian actor once told me we
that.
were posing for pictures at a wedding. This is back when I was quite corpulent, and he was like, "Hey, roll the orange," and which means you pretend you're holding an orange against your chest with your chin whenever you're getting your picture taken, and
roll
then you
the orange.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it gets rid of the waddle.
Like
You
that?
look very natural. I know. I feel so
that?
uncomfortable when I do this. Hi there. Hi there. I'm having fun at this wedding.
That's probably. Is that how you have to talk? Was it like a Cape Cod wedding?
Yeah, yes,
You have
exactly. Yep. Everyone was in seersucker. The bride was in a seersucker dress.
Yes, and no one had the capacity to make a single joke.
Right. So I was on my yacht, and the man said, Chatham, I hardly know him.
No, not even that. Not even that. That's beyond them. No humor, these people. The wasps, the most humorless race of people on this earth.
They seem so confused by each other, and by each other's emotions, and by each other's lack of, I guess, financial drive or something.
I really base this all on the guy Josiah that we used to share an office with, because I did not grow up anywhere near wealth. So I don't really know what's going on out there.
It's very curious. He was very debonair, and he was like, hello, gentlemen. There was he lived by a code, and we don't have that code. You know, the rich never touch their faces.
Who is this? Your person that you went to the wedding of?
Oh, no, I'm talking about Josiah.
Who are we talking about?
Josiah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's that. I know that has been a long-standing theory of yours, that the rich never touch their faces. I'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have itches.
And they don't, and that's how they find each other. They see an itch, I think, as a challenge.
I think maybe they just don't like the essence of their being is nowhere up here. It's all in here.
So they don't even versus
know,
torso.
Yes, they don't even know and legs, and like they'll go for a nice jog, and that will feel invigorating, but they won't they don't think the way that we think about things.
Right,
they don't have to. They've got the if you have money, you don't have to think.
They're just calm. They're like, the air is crisp, so I had a jog, and now I think I'll have half of a cracker before I read an entire book before bed.
Yes. Or are they like subtle, like low-key MAGA? Like who are these people in today's society? Are they like liberals? Are they progressives? No, they're NIMBYs, right? So what is NIMBY? Is NIMBY essentially conservative, or is there no place for them because we have gotten rid of the blue blood conservative?
Oh, right. And now they are either just tinfoil hat wearing people, or they come over to our side and they're like, well, things have gotten completely out of control.
Right. But even when they're on that side, they're still, or no, they're like anti-vaxxers. That's who these people are.
Oh, yeah.
That's who the WASPs are.
Because they want to have a cause.
Yes. They're like people who approach MAGA conservatism like from a different angle. Mm-hmm. Like they just there's some they've been surrounded maybe by liars and morons their entire lives, and maybe they're getting the hint that maybe all of society is lying to them or something like that.
Right, and they're as annoyed by science because science is full of facts, and they don't have to deal with facts. And so Fox News, for the MAGA people, gives them the simulation of being rich by making them be able to avoid facts the way rich people do. So these vaccinations, things like that, you know what I mean? Like, so science is something that they eschew in the same way as the MAGA people do. Like, you look at a picture from an anti-vax rally, and the Ray-Bans per capita are at 1.0.
Yeah. Is that? Yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, but then like I would think of like Goop, like the Gwyneth Paltrow's of the world. I don't know that she's anti-vax, but I'm sure there are plenty of people in her circle, in her like world, that are anti-vax, right?
Yeah, she could not possibly afford to cut out all the wacky anti-vaxxers from her circle, because then her whole thing would collapse. It's like if all the informants, if all the FBI informants left the Communist Party in the 70s, the whole party would collapse.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like 4 out of every 5 people is an informant.
Right.
Informing on informants.
Right. There was no actual FBI. There was no actual Communist Party. There was just FBI informants telling on each other and wasting money.
And 10 lunatics.
Yeah.
10,
yeah. 10 bearded lunatics in the army jackets who are just trying to run a bookstore.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Hi, Brendan. How are you? Sunday morning.
Hearing you say my name, Jeff, is like audio mana from heaven.
Well, I'm going to come at you, so you're not going to be thinking that. You're not going to be thinking that for long.
Oh, bring it! I'm ready. Let's do this.
I'm about to come at you, my bro.
Is this about to become Morton Downey Jr.?
It might be. Yeah, I'm gonna set up a challenge. And
okay.
What was his? Did he have a? Shut up? Was that his catchphrase? What was his catchphrase? Didn't he have a catchphrase?
He might have. I think to choice guess, he might have said, "Your mother sucks cocks in hell."
Yeah. He smoked a cigarette. He screamed at people. But it was really like, that was like the beginning of it all, right? Like, that's all right-wing media is now, is that.
Yeah. And he would have these big confrontation episodes about race in America. Do you remember this? Even though he had like plenty of Nazis on as well. So I always thought he was sort of I was so confused by him, because he would have these Nazis being like, and then he would have I guess it was like what's his name, who was the governor of Ohio? Who's that guy who had the opera written about him? He has the television program. He inherited the Morton Downey Jr. mantle.
Jerry Springer. Springer. Yeah.
Who paid for a prostitute with a check in Kentucky, and that's why he lost the election.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Right. But like, I feel like he would scream at the Nazis. Like, there was a time in our collective culture in which like it wasn't cool to be a Nazi, right? Like, you could just scream at people. Like those people were not welcome in polite society. They were marginalized. They were mocked. Even by a guy like Morton Downey Jr.
Yeah. Yes, right. So he would give them a megaphone, but then mock them. Was that his thing?
I think that was his thing, right? Yeah. And he'd bring on the like grungiest, like one tooth, like redneck dudes.
Yeah.
So that his audience would get all riled up. But it was also casting. It was also like in New York, so I'm sure it was all like New York audiences, you know, who are essentially liberal. I don't know. We've gotten off the topic, but here's what I'm going to come at you. Here's what I'm bringing my Martin Downey Jr. energy at you for.
Okay, I'm ready.
What is your, like, tell me, do you really have such a tight schedule in your life that you can only, like, you have to cram everything into this tiny window of space? Mm-hmm. Is that actually true? Or do you just have like an inner, like you like it's something coming from you? There's like this, you have to like control your time or else you're going to die or something like that. Tell me about this, because we agreed to record today and I said, can we do it at 8? We normally do it at 7:45. Yep. And you said, I have a hard out at 9.
9:30.
And that seems to be a very common thing happening like in your life. Yeah. And I'm trying to understand, is your life really that compact, or is that a way for you to control your life?
Oh, interesting. By me just gratuitously announcing a hard out.
Yes.
Oh,
and or feeling that you have like, okay, everything's, I got to do this at this time. I got to do this at this time. Like, is that how you live your life? Is it difficult for you to relax, Brendan?
My God, is it ever? Yes. I have here's the answer for you.
Yes.
The answer is yes and sort of, which is my answer for everything.
Okay.
I don't have a scheduled schedule, but I have such.
You're not referring to a sheet of paper necessarily that says
right. There's
at this time I must be here. Okay.
No, there's no agenda, but there are
Yes.
there are a lot of demands on my time that are always there are wolves. There is a pack of time demanding wolves at the door at all times.
Okay.
And
okay. I want to hear more about these wolves.
Well, there's a funny. Hold on a second. I have to get rid of the banjo because it's ringing. So hold on one moment.
Oh, I don't. Banjo, Jesus, what's happening now?
I always forget to put the banjo away. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
We have to leave that in, by the way, because I'm titling this episode. I always forget to put the banjo away.
Okay.
Okay.
So, at the risk of, I don't want to say anything too controversial, Jeff, but
throwing your family under the bus or throwing
Yes.
me under the bus, possibly. You can come back at me too, by the way. In this new segment, come at me, bro. You're allowed to come back at me.
Oh, that's fantastic. We need the dad twist on it. Could it simply be "Come at me, Dad"?
Come at me, Dad. Sure.
Although, ew. Okay, so anyway, so at the risk of throwing my family under the bus, which I'm only thrilled to do at any given moment because I feel owed.
Yeah, of course.
Did you ever see the Bill Burr routine where he's talking about Sundays or having a girlfriend and sort of being like, he's like, oh, Sunday, you got a day off, and your girlfriend sees that day coming, and she's like, oh, why don't we fill it up with shit?
Right. Yeah. No, I have not heard that, but that is my wife to a T.
And she's like, and it's like, and he's like, oh, brunch, great, yeah. Why would I want to be home watching the game when I could be paying $18 for eggs? Great. And that now you're thinking. And then he's like, and he's looking at and then he simulates being at the brunch where his girlfriend, who we now know is his lovely wife, Nia, is like looking at the next plate over and being like, is that pesto? Etc. And just like all they're talking about is inane bullshit.
Is the brunch. Yeah.
Is the brunch. Oh, yeah. It's asparagus. I thought it was pesto. Etc. And it's just
meta
great.
Brunch.
It's a great routine. And he just like kills brunch and kills the idea of an empty day. So that's not per se my situation. Okay. Per se. Although days do start to fill up, and there's a lot of in my household. There's a lot of time pressure that I live under, and there's a lot to kind of do. You know what I mean? Like there's an endless list of that I'm sort of always delinquent in a way, and it's partly because of giant projects. This is not just coming from outside. There's also it's also sort of it's also unanimously agreed upon things. For instance, we're selling our house. Meaning
it could be coming from internal, that you feel as if you're always under the gun, but you're not necessarily under the gun. Is that possible?
There's also that. That is redoubled. Okay. I can't draw any boundaries, so I'm just like a big time buffet. My child will come in and be like, "Hey, I want you to watch me do jumping jacks," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," you know what I mean? And then Emily will be like, "Hey,"
and then 3 hours later.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll be like, "Hey, the plants need watering," and I'm like, "Never wanted a garden," etc.
Okay.
And so I serve at the pleasure of my family members. Blue Bear will come in and be like, "I need to be puppeted for a while." Walt needs to be petted now. I have I'm surrounded by high need people. My love language, Jeffrey, is to be no one's burden. But the problem is but I can't draw a boundary because boundaries are burdensome for others. So therefore, I'm just a big plump virgin coming down the street, and the world is full of vampires.
Okay, so but what you're telling me then is that, and thank you for being so honest, Brendan. I'm sorry to come at you so early on a Sunday.
I love it. I love it. I feel loved.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I'm psychoanalyzing you right now. You're on the couch. You're on my couch. Welcome to my couch.
Oh. Lay on the couch, Dad. Another new segment.
We've got a lot coming out of this.
You're on my couch, Dad.
But what you're saying is, say this 9:30 hard out now is real. That is something, or there is something that's just in your head, like, if I don't do this by 9:30, then I won't be able to do the thing at 10:30. Then I won't be able to. Is that the process? Do you see the day just like spilling out in front of you, and in order for you to feel as if you're not going to get lost in that process, you have to say, okay, I'm giving Dinsmore a hard out.
Oh, no, that would require even more active thought on my part. No, the way this works, Emily sort of keeps the schedule and keeps us moving forward. And we do get a lot accomplished, I think, with her as quarterback. But she was like, oh, okay, you're recording. Well, my COVID test someone is coming to take her to give her a COVID test at 10 o'clock. And she's like, my COVID test is at 10. So if you're done at 9:30, we can get all the stuff out of the attic that has to go to the storage space before the COVID test comes. Then after the COVID test, what we can do is drive to the storage space with the first load. Then whoever gets there, one adult stays with the dog, the child, the teddy bear, and all the shit, and starts reorganizing the storage space while the other person goes back to the house and gets all the second load, brings it back. We put it all, et cetera, et cetera. Like that's basically Jesus. Every day.
Well, look, you're moving houses like that. That all makes sense. I get it. Like now is there's a lot of things that you have to actually do right now.
Yeah.
But if you were completely settled in a house, do you feel like that it would still be the same thing? It's still
yeah.
Today's our day. We have to do something.
Day fills up with shit, and it's all time sensitive. And it takes what it takes life. But the thing is, this is ultimately my problem, because Emily and Oscar and Blue Bear, for that matter, have no problem being like, I'm having alone time. Everyone go fuck yourself. But I feel too guilty and abandoning to ever do that. So I don't do that. But then I feel very resentful in the long run, where I'm like, I get no time for myself. And I start to snap at people because I never get anything done because, I'm a time buffet. So
yeah.
That's
I don't do things with my family that much. This is one thing that I think I took this from my dad. My dad was always very good about, we'd go over to grandma's for Thanksgiving, and we do the chit chat, we'd eat the meal, maybe an aperitif after dinner perhaps.
Maybe.
And then my dad was good about saying, "Okay, I'm going," and he'd just drive home, and then the rest of the family would stay, yes, and have to, either find our own way home or we would have driven separately, because we just knew that Dad was done. When Dad was done, he was just done. He left. He's done.
Wow. Wait, and was this his mother or his mother-in-law?
Mother-in-law.
Interesting. The plot thickens.
Does that make it worse or better? But no, it wasn't. There was no animosity in it. He was just like, I don't want to stick around and fucking have to chit chat. Like, I'm leaving. Wow. Like he doesn't derive pleasure from that. And he he never felt any obligation to go through with it. But as a result, I'm pretty good with that. Like often, like Sarah doesn't even ask me sometimes. She'll be like, "Hey, I'm just going to take the kids over to so-and-so's house." And like, they're lovely people. I mean, these are people who I'm friends with and I enjoy being around. I can't be around them all the time. I can't do it. I can't do it. I just, I have to be like, I can't always be doing something. I'm like, I just can't. I can't, man. I just can't. So,
oh my God, that actually sounds kind of incredible, because I think the default is participation over here, but because I've never made it clear. But I think dads need, back from the hunting and gathering days, like, we need to go on a hunt and be alone, like looking for a water buffalo sometimes. You know? And feel the quiet of the trees around us. And then we need to fucking murder an animal and drag it home by its horns by ourselves. I think there's a thing that has to happen like that.
That's what we should be doing. So that's what I'm metaphorically doing when I'm writing in my journal. Lying in bed, writing in my journal while my family is away.
God, it sounds like
murdering the buffalo.
There's a solitude. I mean, yeah, vitamin S, I think, is something that I don't get enough of and would love more of, but I always feel like I'm letting them down, you know, and I always feel like I'm delinquent and et cetera, or being emotionally delinquent or something. And it is a real problem because I am starved for solitude.
That's your growing edge.
That's my growing itch. Is that what you said?
Your growing edge.
Oh, my growing edge.
Heard that term?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I like to
that's your
that
thing that you don't. Yeah. The barrier that will you ever reach it? Who knows?
Who knows?
Perhaps growing towards it. You may go crazy and murder your entire family in one fell swoop someday, like because you've pushed it too far out of your head. Okay.
This is how far it's gone, actually, for me. When I was watching something on whatever, and a guy who had been in jail for 20 years talked about how he had this friend named Geronimo who they were really good friends and they studied in the library together and they're helping each other get their GED. But then Geronimo screwed something up and he was in solitary for 6 months and he lost his mind. And when he came out, he was just broken as a human and done, which is so horrible. My first reaction, though, was solitary confinement for 6 months. That sounds awesome.
Oh, God. If you can treat it, if you can learn how to, basically it's a silent retreat, right?
Yeah.
Like, people fucking, like, this NIMBY crowd pays good money for that.
Right.
To go away into solitary confinement.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You just have to reframe it in your head.
Yeah, they call it Greenwich, Connecticut.
I could not fucking handle that. I can't. That's my worst nightmare. Is being
ever since I saw the Ice Storm, which is like a horror movie, basically. I was like, ugh, I don't want to be a part of that scene. Jesus Christ.
Oh no, not that. That yeah, that's horrible too. But no, solitary confinement.
Oh, I thought you were talking about being a wasp.
No, that's not my worst nightmare. I was going to say one more thing, and then we'll get into our segments. But I heard an interview with Mary Trump this week, the niece, of Donald Trump, who turned against the family. Mm-hmm. And it was just about psychology. She's a psychologist. It didn't really have much to do with Donald Trump, but she was saying that basically right now, like through this pandemic, we're all at war. Like all of us is at war. We're either on the front lines or we're like in the back offices, but we are all participating in a war right now. Mm-hmm. And we're all going to come home from war at the same time. And we're going to pretend that we hadn't just been through a war, and it's going to lead to this like psychological crisis. Like in another, 6 months, people are just going to be losing their shit because like of all of this strength that we've had to muster throughout this time, and like that is not being addressed, and like it's just there in our heads, and it's going to manifest somehow,
Yep.
Which I totally believe.
Yeah, that makes absolute perfect sense. I feel absolute PTSD from the Trump administration. For one thing, not even talking about COVID, but like Trump administration on top of COVID, on top of everything else, has been if you stop for 1 second, you're like, Jesus Christ, and then go and then continue on again. It really leaves a ding in the day. Yeah,
yeah. Like I remember little things like the government shutdown, where he shut the government down for so long that we thought planes were going to fall out of the sky. And we don't talk about it. It just happened. Yep. We were all on the edge of our seats. We were almost at war with Iran for a weekend. Remember that?
Yep.
We were all like, just like this constant, like, psycho knife, like going into our psyches, right? That we're just we're not doing anything with. We're just like, oh, phew, we're past that now. But there are ruptures up there that have been left by this chaos.
We have all now had an abusive stepfather in the house.
Yes.
And we were in high school and couldn't do anything about it. We're just stuck in high school with this fucking narcissist in the house who drinks and yells. It was terrifying. And so now we're all gonna, whatever that, I wonder what that will become. You know what may happen in terms of the psychosis she's talking about? There may be a burst of decorum, like where we become, where it becomes really not cool to be drunk in public and things like that.
Interesting.
We might like break very, what's a big decorum society. Japan. Like we might break towards the Japan way of having decorum or something like that.
Huh. That's like the positive outcome, I feel like.
Right. Although that can certainly go over the edge. Then you get into witch trials.
Yeah. I mean, I think what happens in America is decorum for thee and not for me.
Yes. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It may be that where we're just judging everyone else's decorum. And meanwhile, we're being complete assholes in our own lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Shall we move into our first segment, leisure class?
Oh, let's. Leisure class.
Leisure class.
Come on, everybody. We're going to school. Now it's time to find out what Dad thinks is cool. It's leisure class. Dad Jeans leisure class.
Here we are.
Jeffrey, hello.
Brendan.
Hi.
Leisure. We just had a segment talking about how difficult it is for us to attain the state of leisure.
Yes.
But with this segment, I believe we're going to. I want you to feel it, Brendan, in your body. I want you to feel a sense of ease. I want you to feel your burden of time leaving you, and just embrace leisure.
I want that for myself.
I want it for you. I want it for you.
You're very kind.
I am sending you $100 gift certificate to Float Salon so that you can just lie there in water and feel it all float away.
I've always wanted to go to one of those places. Have you been? And have you seen the movie Simon? Have we talked about Simon on the air?
We have not talked about Simon on the air. Well, you challenged me. It was the last I challenged thee to watch Simon.
Oh, right.
And which I still have not done.
Okay.
So that segment is effectively dead until I complete my challenge.
We'll save. Okay. Hello, cat's body. It refers to it's relevant to this conversation about float.
Okay.
Oh my God! It looks like a giant cat is backing that ass up right into the side of your head.
That's what cats do, man. They just stick their butts in your face.
And is it a way of saying hello?
I don't know what it is. I think they just have no concept of others' personal space.
My old dog, I remember I was helping her up the stairs when she was really old, and I put my thumb print right onto her butthole, and it was like getting a thumbprint scan. It was like bing. Oh God! Because I wasn't sort of paying attention. It was an awful feeling to pat.
You recall that?
Every day for the rest of my life, I'll recall that.
It was like a little soft and sticky.
Yeah, it was very smooth. It was weird. It was smooth. It was honestly, it was like getting your thumbprint at the DMV or something like that, like one of those little machines. And maybe it was. God. Maybe they were waiting for the dog species was waiting to get a clean thumbprint of a human, and now they're making a giant statue of me somewhere.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, a giant golden fleece of you.
Yeah.
Their leader. I also love that you present that story as it happened one time. I bet you did it a lot.
Time to go up the stairs, Laika.
I accidentally put my thumb on my dog's butthole. No, sir. No, sir. That was no accident. I see through you, my friend.
We just got our dog fixed last week, but they left his.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I know, but they left his nutsack. I thought they took that thing away or that it shriveled up or something. But he's still like the balls on a dog. Like the nutsack is just no one wants to look at that thing. You just want it to at best be this like tube that's mostly attached to the undercarriage of the being. But if there's a ball sack, and his, of course, now is angry and purple because it got operated on Wednesday. And so I don't. I thought it would go away. I thought I was in it. I didn't care that he had balls. I just wanted that ball sack gone for aesthetic reasons.
You didn't ask? Can we get rid of the nuts?
Do they have to throw that in extra?
I don't know. Maybe.
I wonder if he just got a dogsectomy and not actually like what's the other thing? Not actually got castrated.
You could teach him like what do the drag queens do where they like suck their balls into their body cavity? Maybe you could. That's a trick you could teach him.
Wait, what? They huh? Are you kidding?
No, it's like tucking, where you're like tucking your things away inside your body somehow.
My God, have you ever sat after a hot shower
have to do some research
and stared at your scrotum for a long time?
I have not. And I'll remind you that we have 2 female listeners, Brendan.
the balls, entirely of their own accord, will undulate and move around in kind of a figure 8 pattern.
There's definitely some hot ball action happening down there after a shower.
It's a Starlight Express down there, especially after a hot shower.
Oh my God. Starlight Express, please answer me. Yes. I actually know I saw that musical on Broadway.
You did?
I know Starlight Express in and out. Yes.
Oh, it's fantastic. I've only seen the commercials on WLDI Channel 56 when the touring show came through Boston.
Oh my God. It toured?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I did not. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. That is not our.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, our
so
leisure
sorry.
class.
There's one last thing
About balls.
About the Starlight Express. Obviously, we should do a 2-man Starlight Express.
Oh, that's brilliant! I love it.
Deep in the valley in some storefront theater.
On Get a Life. Do you remember that show with Chris Elliott's show?
Oh yes, brilliant.
He was in a musical called Zoo Animals on Wheels. It was a mashup of Cats and Starlight Express. It's one of the finest half hours of television of all time.
Period. When he went in the male modeling agency, when he was Sparkles
Handsome Boy Modeling School.
Oh my God, they're gorgeous. So excellent.
Classic TV. So, all right, so far already in leisure class, we have listened to Starlight Express, watch Get a Life.
Yep.
I have 2 more. First of all, Brendan, I watched the Britney Spears doc that your significant other, Tiffany America, was the DP for.
She certainly was.
And what a great, it's just a really well made, the sort of not diatribe. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's like it reframed so many things, this documentary, in such a good way. I thought it was very well made.
I totally agree, and I felt very bad for Britney Spears. And I myself took great schadenfreudic pleasure when she was attacking the paparazzi and shaving her head. And now I don't see what choice she had.
No, A, and B, 2 other things that I recall about Britney Spears is that, number one, we all thought she was stupid. I remember consciously saying oh, this is a stupid person. That was her image. But all of those interviews you see with her, she's so poised and well-spoken and intelligent, and she seems like she has a very God-given gift, right? And she's just good at it. She has always been good at what she does. And B, I remember some isolated vocals where it was proven that she can't sing a note, but she clearly had pipes.
Yeah.
They show her at age 10 on Star Search, and she's wailing, and you're like, oh yeah.
She's amazing on Star Search.
A very good singer. So it did my head in a little bit. I feel like the cultural myths surrounding this person are just that I just sort of accepted as reality. Were they were nowhere in that. They were just complete fabrications.
I would say I was probably most shocked by Diane Sawyer being being the party line with everybody else. And Matt Lauer. I mean, Matt Lauer is a horrible person, but they have a slightly more air of non-Page 6, non-TMZ legitimacy. Diane Sawyer and maybe Matt. I don't know, but I mean, they're just taking it. But there's a party line that they follow and are just told. It's like they say about political candidates, with the exception of AOC, I'm sure, where they walk into an interview and they turn to their handlers and they're like, "What's my opinion on this? What am I saying right now? And to who am I saying it? Okay, got it." And then they just are a mouthpiece. And this poor girl, they weren't using the footage of her being cogent and normal. They were only ever using the footage of her stumbling over her words and then trying to think of what she wants to say next.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like being unduly emotional when asked about her boobs at age 16, you know?
That, horrible.
And you're just like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, some of these, like the foreign interviewers, you're just like, ugh, dude.
I know. Yeah.
These poor people, poor, just women in general, like the things that they must go through
is horrendous. Horrendous.
It really is.
I mean,
it really is.
I don't know. I've never met a single woman that doesn't have a horrendous war story about just sharing this planet with fucking men. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yes. Sharing this planet with men. I'm sorry.
It's a horrible task.
Sorry, ladies.
Sorry, ladies.
I'm sorry.
I am also sorry.
You have to suffer through them talking about their nut sacks after the shower.
Yeah. I did that. That was me. I'm going to cop to that one.
We're going to have a lot to apologize for next week.
Yeah. Just an hour and a half long compunction.
Yes, exactly. Which is good because we get to hear Brian L. Perkins' theme songs again.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a treat. My number two leisure class is Nomadland. Have you heard of this movie?
I only in so much as that it stars Frances McDormand, who I adore.
Yes,
and once met.
Frances Adormand,
if you will, as it were.
Did you meet her?
Yeah, so
was
I went
she lovely?
She's the best. So I went. So first I saw To You the Birdie, which is to date the best play I've ever seen, which is done by the Worcester Group, and she was in it. Mm-hmm. And then a couple months later,
she's a Worcester Group founder, right?
Is she? No, I don't think. Is she? Maybe.
She's definitely been a long time.
She's been a
member.
She's sort of part. Yeah, her, Willem Dafoe, a couple others. That Worcester Group, man. So To You the Birdie was a combination of the play Racine with Japanese enema porn.
Okay.
And it was fucking great. It was fucking fantastic. And so she comes and she a couple of weeks later or months later, she came to the drama school while I was a student there to speak to the students. And I popped out of a building on this walkway between the buildings. And there she was standing there kind of reminiscing because she went to the drama school. And I saw her and I was like, oh, Frances McDormand. And she was like, hello, stranger. And I said... To You the Birdie is the best play I've ever seen. And she was like, well, we're going to be best friends for the next 2 blocks. Come on, kid. And we just chitty-chatted the whole time.
Oh, my God.
And then walked for a couple of lectures.
I love her.
Awesome. And then she was like, you got to come when I talk to the actors. And I was like, they usually only let the acting students in there. And she was like, come on. And I was like, okay. So I went in and I sat with the actors. And then she saw me in the crowd. She's like, hi, Brendan. And then I wrote her a letter and she wrote me a postcard back.
Oh my God! Wow! What a magical human you just described.
She's as cool as you would hope she would be. And you know what she said to everyone? She was like,
yes.
When you move to New York, live in the Bronx. That's my advice to you.
Okay.
I just think that's awesome. Yeah.
Just because shit's going on in the Bronx?
Yeah, she's like, plenty of the apartments are totally affordable. Real life happens in the Bronx. You can actually have an artist career there. Don't fall for the Manhattan myth. Don't live in Brooklyn, with air quotes. Live in the Bronx.
Yeah. Wow, I love her.
That's how awesome she is.
I have a friend, not a close friend. It was more of a friend of a friend who used to be her assistant, and she just sounded like a lovely person.
Yeah,
she's a real deal. But
the real deal.
You can tell it in this movie. So Nomadland, this movie is about this phenomenon that's happening in America right now, where older people, retirees, will live in vans,
van life,
and yes, and they'll go work at the Amazon, center, or Amazon warehouses in the winter, and they'll go to, whatever. They just travel around in their vans and keep working because they can't afford to retire.
Wow.
And so that's what this movie is about. And it's Frances McDormand and David Strathairn are the only actors in it. Everyone else is people who are in this van culture. They would go to the places, the way it was shot is they would go to, wherever at Christmas, they went to the Amazon warehouse where people were congregating, and they would interview people there, and they would figure out who was the most compelling presence on camera, and then they would work those people's. Into the narrative. And so then those people became characters.
Wow.
In the story and playing themselves basically. And they were to a T. Like the director is this woman Chloe something. I can't think of her last name, but like to a T, the people were like matched Frances McDormand. Like they were just, every single one of them was great, and like the story, it was beautiful. It was like, as a cinematographer, Emily is going to be like blown away by this movie. I feel like it's just like so well shot. It's just like the stories are so compelling. It's like so tight, and they don't explain anything. It's just like they treat you like
best.
an adult in this movie, and it was just so refreshing. It's the best movie I've seen all year by far. Highly recommended.
Holy
it's on
shit.
Hulu, by the way.
There's a Talk of the Town article about the cinematographer in the most recent New Yorker.
Okay.
It's that wrote nothing. I'm not sure I even read it, but I did see it. Okay. But they're husband and wife. He's the husband of the director.
The cinematographer for Nomadland?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I did not know that.
So that's a nice little story. I love that. That reminds me of the movie, which I also haven't seen, but actually the trailer for it changed my life forever. The movie Nobody Knows About Persian Cats. Nobody Knows About Persian Cats. Have you heard of that movie?
Don't know if I have. No.
It is. It came out in like 2005, and I was starting to have serious doubts. I was having a crisis of faith about whether I wanted to do theater anymore around then, 2005, 2006. It took me 5 years to get out of that cult, but I did finally get out. But I was sitting in a movie theater, and I saw the trailer for Nobody Knows About Persian Cats, which is a hybrid just like this, a hybrid fiction documentary thing, where it was this rock band in Tehran where rock is illegal and concerts are illegal. And so they decided to make a movie, quote unquote, about a rock band, like make a fiction film about a fictional rock band in which they had to film concert scenes, because you can make movies in Tehran, you just can't have rock concerts. And so as an excuse to have rock concerts, they made a movie about a rock band, but they were the actual rock band, and they were actually having concerts. And but then of course it takes on a life of its own and does the whole thing. And I was sitting there and I was directing a play about golf in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I was like, I'm in the wrong art form.
Wow.
And so I had to change things around a little.
Is that when you decided to move to Los Angeles?
Yeah, shortly thereafter. Had I already decided? Yeah. It was around the same time where Jones called me and wouldn't let me off the phone until I agreed to leave it all behind and move out here to this fucking hellscape of asphalt and broken dreams.
Well, it's worked for you.
I mean, Los Angeles, despite my ambivalence about it, has been kind to me.
Yeah. I guess me too. I don't know. I think the world is like broken, but that's another segment.
That's another segment.
Brendan, what is your leisure class for this week?
I can't believe I've never brought this up before, Jeff, because while I am pressed for time as a man my entire life, I do occasionally, when I'm pooping, or because pooping time is my time. That's why my poops are so long, and shower time.
Yes.
I do go onto Twitter and look at your tweets. And I would say to anyone listening that Jeff's tweets are the most delicious corner of the internet that exists. And I would like to read some. But the level, Jeff, the level of genius that you pump out 8 times a day, it would take me 2 weeks to come up with half of one of these. And you just 8 times a day have a complete, hilarious, full-on thought that is internet ready and should take the world by storm, but because of various algorithms, you're robbed constantly.
No one cares. No one cares.
No, it's not that everyone would care. You are the Rob Delaney of the 21st century, yet no one knows it because Twitter somehow doesn't allow anyone to see your fucking genius tweets. And I would like to read some.
Kind. Okay, please. With that butter up.
Yeah, now, here's just the latest one.
Okay.
Some genders, this is pinned, so it may not be the latest. Some genders are so powerful, if you try to reveal them, you will die.
Yes.
That is brilliant. It's so good. Let's see. Here's another. I'm just going to read the in order the ones that I see. I'm not even going to vet them.
Some might be good, not that good, but I'll trust you. Okay, let's go for it.
Okay. Oh, right. And some of them are like politically like, yeah, of course. Democrats should not have to defend voting for the most popular legislation of my lifetime. They should have to explain what took so long. Amen, brother.
Right?
Let's see. Can you imagine if you honestly believed the election was stolen and your party wasn't doing anything about it? No organized protests, no lawsuits, nothing. Just constant whining and shitposting, and you still supported them?
Can you imagine?
Can you?
You can't.
Exactly. Let's see. Trump is going to talk for like 4 hours at CPAC, and it'll be an insufferably boring tirade about how mean people are to him, and every network will show it live and spend the next week talking about how awesomely powerful he is. Yes, exactly. Why, Jeff? Why don't you have your own show on MSNBC? For Christ's sake.
Here's the thing, Brendan. This is something that has just puzzled me throughout my life, and I think you have a similar dilemma because you have natural gifts that there is not like a format for them in a way. You know, I'm just like, what do I do? I don't know what I do. It doesn't fit into any category. I think you are the same. Your genius doesn't fit into a category. And
thank you.
So we get like, we have to just invent the category, and that's a lot of fucking work.
It's a lot of work.
What is that?
We have to shoehorn. Yeah.
I'm like a tweet jingle writer. Like,
all right. I gotta be honest with you, Jeff. I'll tell you exactly what it is. I want to say one more of these because it's great. Okay. We all owe the Leave Britney Alone guy a huge apology. We do.
Yes.
I thought that as well. It's so true.
Yes.
Oh, we should have
ahead of the curve.
Alone. He was so ahead of the curve. It is amazing about life, by the way, that everything you think, you will eventually realize the opposite is actually true.
That's interesting. There's probably accuracy to that. There's probably truth to that, right?
Like that guy. I was like, what a sorry, sad sack. Look at that guy with his eyeliner and his like mauve sheet behind him. And then here we are 10 years later, 15 years later, and we're like, oh, holy shit. He was right and the rest of us were wrong.
Yeah, he was ahead of the curve. We did need to leave that poor fucking guy alone.
Yeah.
No, not him. Her. We needed to leave her alone, but then we needed to leave him alone for caring. Let him care. He cared. He was the first to care.
He was the first, and he had his crime was having such a big heart.
Yeah. Yes. That was his crime for caring. Yeah. What a world this is.
I think he's the subject of a documentary, and I think / hope that he might have gotten rich somehow doing that. But that's another story.
He was definitely in a Weezer video.
Was he?
I believe I even his name is Chris something.
Wow, Jeff.
I know.
Repository. I'm going to say this though, the thing of what you were talking about, this sort of like there's no no format. The format, my friend, is TikTok. We're all headed for TikTok. There was life on Earth before Romulus and Remus were suckled by the wolf on the 7 hills of Rome. And there was after. And TikTok is the Holy Roman Empire, and it's going to take over everything.
I appreciate how much you love it. You still have to have some compelling, like there's acting involved in that I feel is not my forte.
There can be, but there's also just pontificating. There are people who just pontificate.
I need to work harder at it. That's the problem. Like I've always been like, oh, maybe I should try stand up, but then I'm just like. How do you even? It seems like a lot of work. You got to write things down.
It does seem a lot of work.
Say them the right way.
Yeah, and everyone
be humiliated,
so broken. Like they're just broken people.
Yeah, because you spend 10 years being humiliated and sucking, and like all you have is that like 5 minutes that you're rehearsing in front of the mirror and then saying over and over and over and over and over again, and it's just like, Jesus, man, like.
And then it still doesn't work because you have to your dues will come out of your ass in that art form one way or the other. And then like the road weary ones who have made it or who are now Jedis are like, yeah, well, that's how you do it. And then there are so many Jedis that you've never actually heard of who are Jedis, and everyone knows comedians know who they are, but no one else does,
Yes. And then they just spend their like latter half of their career complaining about cancel culture.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And they say one wrong thing and then they're canceled and then it's over.
Yeah.
I've dreamed, all right, privately, I'm just going to say this to you and our listeners. I have also been thinking about doing stand-up. And I think when this is over, maybe what if you and I just did it together.
As a 2-man team?
No. But
we push each other to do it, to deliver a set.
Yeah.
I take that. That's an I challenge thee. I take that challenge.
When
I
this
take
is over,
that challenge.
So Jeff, here's the other thing I'm going to say to you. If everything works out, you know how I used to have the pergola nights in my yard, and I would have little variety shows here at my house. This house that I'm now
love amazing times. Yes.
The new house that we hopefully will finish closing.
You have a new house?
I have a new house.
Where is it?
Well, I don't know if you have to close, and we have to sell our house, and we have our inspections tomorrow.
You don't want to jinx anything.
Apart. I don't want to jinx it, but the neighborhood is 2 words. First word begins with an E. Second word begins with an R.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah,
it's a wee bit closer to my neck of the woods.
It's further actually. It's on the further part. I moved further away from you, but that doesn't matter. I moved it because it's above and then goes to the west. So I'm moving west by about 2 miles.
Got it. Okay. Well, I can handle 2 miles.
But the point is, it has another such thing where it's not a pergola, but it has like a performance-friendly area.
Oh my God! Amazing.
So we could make it easy on ourselves.
That would be a friendly audience. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We could even have a night of people who've never done stand-up but always felt like they wanted to try.
Ooh,
you know
I love that. Yeah. God, it's just so bad. Open mic nights are so hard to watch. They're
yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. We'd be hilarious. Just read my tweets. That's all I need to do. I'll just read my tweets.
You don't have to do anything because you have thousands and thousands of tight fives just sitting here on Twitter for yourself.
Maybe. It's the whole story part of it, crafting a narrative throughout a set, because the true genius of stand-up comedy is it's a magic trick, which is the final callback.
Right. Yes.
You just have to make everything lead up to the final thing, and then people will be like, whoa, it all fit together. But it doesn't all need to fit together. You can go on 50 different tangents, but then if that last thing is the first thing you said, then suddenly you're a brilliant stand-up, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I think the problem is that we are both aesthetes, and so we look at Hannah Gadsby's Nanette or something, and we're like, well, you have to, if we're going to try this art form, and we have to start at Nanette and get better from there, But that's not easy to do because we can't be formalists before we're just in the grunts in the trenches.
Yes, and that's very true. And I think that's why I've always avoided it, because I feel like the people who just are compelled to do stand up, they don't even want that. They just want someone to laugh at anything that they said, Yeah. So they're they're just going for that first laugh. And you and I were world weary folks who have spent our time in front of crowds doing things, and now we just want to come in and destroy the format.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
No. You haven't even learned the format yet.
Right, because and we want to do the meta thing. And this is my problem with this is why I never get anything done, because when you're trying to create something new, you're like, well, let's look at the entire zeitgeist, multiply it by Barbra Streisand, infuse apple pectin, and make it a zebra. You know what I mean? None of it, and then it will be genius. We come up with the bizarre Rube Goldberg genius machine, but it actually there's fundamentals. There's the fundamental there's Baryshnikov going back to dance classes with 10-year-olds and doing quarter turns to remember what dance is all about.
Yes, that's what we need to be, Baryshnikov.
Yep.
Doing quarter turns.
Correct.
All right. Shall we move into the next segment?
Let's.
A parent just don't understand.
A parent just don't understand how the culture of the youth has gotten so out of hand. They watch trash and listen to shitty bands. And I, who am a parent, I just don't understand.
Here's what I don't understand, Brendan, about this current world. As did something just fade out? Oh, no. Look at that. You've got light, and then you've got no light. Amazing.
I'm switching apps because I'm putting markers into my other app.
Oh, I can see your app switching from here. It's beautiful.
Really? Yeah.
I can see your app from here, buddy. So bad. See, there you go. That's a 5-minute set right there. I can see your app from here. Okay. I don't know I don't know where I stand on this topic, Brendan, and I'd love for you to just help me work through it a little bit. Memes.
Memes.
Like, first of all, what is a meme? How did a meme become a thing?
Mm-hmm.
How does it persist? How do younger people think of memes? Why is that word so awkward? Like the meme. Like it's just, it just feels weird coming out of your mouth a little bit, right?
Particularly weird when Congress people mention memes in their speeches.
Yes. Yeah, yes, totally. I think like I read the book in which the term meme was coined.
Mm-hmm. This was
years
a long
ago.
time ago, right? Like
yeah, it was before. I mean, not a long time ago. It was like the book was written in the 80s, maybe.
Mm-hmm. But before the internet, I mean.
It was before the internet. Yes, a meme was just like it was like a cultural thing. Like the Dean Scream would be a meme.
The Dean Scream. Yep.
Part of my rhyme. But so yes, they existed before the internet, but then the internet made them something that like a grandmother would know the word meme. And they're often very funny. Like there's some like that one with the guy where the guy's walking with his girlfriend and looking behind him, and you put three different concepts at the other girl, right? Who's passing by, and you put three different words there. Like that, I get quite a chuckle out of that format. Like, and I've seen it a million times now, but there are quite a few of them that make me laugh, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do I like them or do I hate them, or are they, what are they? Like, I just don't get them. I don't get it. Is it something new? Is it just something old that's like suddenly being categorized, and by the internet, it's like become something that we all like share? Like we never had a way of sharing things like this before. So we've always had the concept of a meme, but it's just never gone around in the same way.
I think, I personally think I am pro meme because they're little wit grenades.
Okay.
And they're a way for us to show the interconnectivity of everything very quickly with as few words as possible. A very economical form of wit where we establish a connection, bring something into the discussion that otherwise wouldn't belong, show a metaphorical truth about a thing, and make the world more tight on a wit and satire level, so that we all so collectively as a people we become a little bit smarter.
Right. Okay. I'll buy that, because like for instance the guy looking at the passing girl meme, the first time you saw that, you had to like understand the situation, like what's happening here in this picture, and now that's just internalized. And so the thing on the left is going to be, you just know where things sit in this hierarchy of information that you're getting in this picture, right?
Yep.
And so then you can start to fuck with the format a little bit and do things that are like, surprising. Like a good meme is always surprising. A good joke is always surprising, right? Like that's what humor is.
Yeah, exactly. And what the internet has allowed, the problem is, as Clay Shirky named his book, Here Comes Everybody. So we grew up, part of the problem, I think what you're bumping on, and I bump on it also, is I was class clown in high school, and I fancied myself to, and funniness when we were coming up before the internet and before memes was kind of at a premium. Like funny smart, that's smart funny. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And not everyone was smart funny. And so you could say the thing where people are like, my, what a wit, and it was great. But but it's a little bit, you feel a little bit scooped, or I personally feel a little bit scooped that now everyone is fucking hilarious and smart. You know what I mean? I felt like I had cornered that market a little bit, and now it's everybody, and it is encouraged, and everyone is. And the same thing with filmmaking. Filmmaking, like making a movie, was also at a premium because you had to buy film stock and learn all this like bizarre trade. But now anyone can make a movie, and everyone does. And like I'm sure there are high schools where they're like, make an actual feature film for your senior project, and they fucking do. So now everyone does that too. Like all these things that used to be specialized and special in their specialization have been despecialized, and now no one can be special because everyone is special, so nothing is special.
That's interesting. And like, we saw that in, like with Clerks, which is a terrible movie. I
Terrible.
think it's a terrible movie.
Salsa Shark was its only thing, and it was in the title, and it was in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Smith is a no talent this guy.
I hate to say, I have to agree, but he got in before the thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. He did it. So people were just like, he did it. He did a thing.
You finished a movie, Kevin, and now here's your mansion. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And now you have this outsized influence on society.
Let me be kind to Kevin Smith. I do enjoy him as a storyteller. When I hear he told a story about meeting Prince once, which is it's legendary in my head.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think he's
I'm sure he's an
talent,
awesome guy.
but I think his movies suck. I've never enjoyed a Kevin Smith movie.
Neither have I. Dogma, none of them. I've showed up to enjoy them because I'm supposed to. Felt like everyone seems to love this guy. But it's like Britney Spears. Britney Spears isn't dumb, and Kevin Smith is fine, but he's not, at making movies. But he was a specialist in a time when that mattered, and he got in right before everyone else. He was in the vanguard.
That's right. Yes, exactly. But now Kevin Smith is he would never would Clerks hit today? No, they'd be like, why does this look so shitty? Don't you have an iPhone?
Exactly. But we were so starved back then, and so we were like, oh, I guess, and we all report to the Cineplex for duty every weekend to see whatever shit smears off the screen. And so but now fucking everyone's doing it. And on TikTok, not to talk about TikTok again, young teenagers are doing these crazy match cuts, and everyone is a director. Everyone is now a director, on par with many directors that are much better than many directors that have ever become bold-faced names. Yeah,
I watched some video. There's this whole thing where I don't even know how they do it, where they stop and start the camera in such a way that it looks like they'll I saw this thing of this girl spinning her head around, and then she throws a sweatshirt and it transforms into her body, these just really ultra fast cut things, and I'm just how are they doing this? What is this? And that's a whole school, right, on TikTok, where you're just
it's insane, and you almost become desensitized to in-camera tricks. But there are now millions of Michel Gondrys, and they're all teenage girls who are 15,
right?
And it's unleashing kind of that, and also it's exciting because it's unleashing this half the sky thing, because it's so democratized, and filmmaking has been such a male man bullshit thing, for so long, that now these young teenage girls are showing how fucking smart they are, and it's great.
Yes. Does this get into your I apparent just don't understand? Is this similar to what you would like to hit on this week?
It does 100%, which is the other side of the coin. So on the TikToks, I do go onto it now and then. People are very themed. So a person will be like, in this space, I'm going to be talking about real estate. And they just, or I'm going to talk about how to buy a car. And they just talk about, when you're in the dealership, never say you're paying in cash. And now follow for more. And why, you know what I mean? And you look at, and you're like, what is this account about? Oh my God, this person has made 51-minute videos just about buying a car at a dealership. And and this is her thing, and she has 20,000 followers, et cetera, or 1 million followers, or 5 million followers, and so there's this thing about specialization. There's this sort of self-imposed pressure to specialize deeply in your sort of online self brand, which seems very. There's a guy who talks about the history of ska. And that's just his thing. And it seems like he lives it, too. He's dancing to ska in his room, and he has all the ska posters, and he's explaining the deep history, how ska slowed down and became reggae, blah, etc. And just, it's all different. This chord, this is when the Scotalites did the thing with blah, blah, whatever. And he just lives his life this way. So it's not only his online presence, but he lives. And so people are sort of willingly pigeonholing themselves into some hobby that becomes their brand. That seems defining to me. Like there aren't any generalists because generalists get nowhere. Like you have to have a directed sense to it all.
Yes, you have to be. That's how you become an influencer, because that's the end goal, is to get paid and to get free shit.
Yeah,
but you can't do that as a generalist. You have to have a specific thing that you do, right?
Right. If I were to do this, I really like trivia, but fucking what? You know what I mean? Like trivia is about everything.
Do you want to do? Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I would get if I became an influencer, I would maybe get like the latest toilet trivia book. And it'd be like, here I am on my toilet reading the latest toilet trivia book.
You've thought about this, haven't you? This is what you think you're going to do. I don't think that's a bad idea. That's the thing, is you just have to frame it, right? Like you have to find a way to frame it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know what that, but that's exactly what we've been talking about this whole episode, is like, that's my problem too, is that I don't know what my frame is. My frame seems very it just seems very strange. Like there's the one guy who does, have you seen this guy who does covers of songs like as done by a different artist? Like he does WAP, you know, that wet ass pussy song as done by like Blink 182, and it'll be first you need to lay down a bass line, and it sounds exactly like a Blink 182 bass line, and like
holy shit,
he has this skill that he's really good at, like transforming one kind, like aping one sort of style to use for a different kind of song. And like that, but that's a thing. Like that's a thing that one can do. Or the sea shanty guy, he just does sea shanties. Yeah, you know. But yeah, I hear you, brother. That is the trick, is how we come from an age or a lineage, I think, in which being a Renaissance man was something to be prized. Right. And so that's what we've aspired to in our lives, but it's not anymore. You don't want to be a Renaissance man. You want to be a millennial man, and a millennial man is dedicated to one single pursuit. Yes. Obsessively.
Yeah. And they go a mile deep and a foot wide, and we've been going a mile wide and a foot deep our whole lives.
Yes. 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 And then we won't be influencers. Who are we influencing?
Nobody. Our beloved 100 listeners. Hi guys.
Hi guys. Thanks for tuning in again to hear us insult you every week.
And talk about how few of you there are. There might be more than 100. There might be less than 100. We'll never tell you.
We easily get a good 110 on our downloads. and then there's at least 9 YouTube viewers. So add them all up. I bet we're probably close to 130.
Maybe, yeah. 5 are in Russia, 3 are in Brazil, 1 is in Australia.
Exactly. I'm gonna hashtag this Free Britney though, so we'll see how that affects our numbers.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? Generalist, influencers. Oh, so the other thing though is that I've been talking to our dear friend Jay about this recently, that there's an age in which a man becomes irrelevant. This is all we've talked about on Dad Jeans from jump, right?
Yep.
Is that you become irrelevant, and irrelevance means that you have no influence anymore, and. Right. But maybe it's better to not pursue that influence. What is that influence? That's outside validation. Maybe in general, what we need to do is be anti-influence. We need to stop this rabid pursuit of influence. We're past it. The youngs are going to be the ones who do it. And B, it's not what does it get you in life? What are we searching for out of this quest for influence?
That's true. And any middle-aged and above white man who comes in the room as an influential person, there's a real obnoxiousness to that. The kind of middle-aged white man and above that I would want to be is someone you don't notice enter a room, and eventually you're like, oh hey, and that guy's like, hey man, what's up? And they're just being themselves, and they're just I'm just enjoying myself here, and I'm just a stoned hippie having a good time, and I'm here to say aphorisms if you want to hear them, but I doubt you do, so I'm not going to say them.
Yes. Or like you're the guy who they go into your apartment after you die and they've found this elaborate like 50-year project that you've been scrawling on paper that then it becomes like an outsider art thing that's showcased in the...
Yeah. No one tells us white dudes that when we turn 40, probably 43, from that point forward, we can only hope for posthumous fame.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it's not coming down right now.
It
unless
has to
you're
go
that
internal.
Yes, you're that one guy every 20 years who like somehow like whatever his rock band hits when he's 45. You know.
Oh right, but they have to. Yeah. But then they have to be that hippie that does it. That is just bemused by everything.
Yeah, I'm past. I can't do that. I can't be bemused.
Yeah, because they have to be a morsel of like cute intactness.
Right. Yes, you have to be. Yeah, you have to have some sort of inner, I don't know, love for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And you certainly can't struggle because that is, no one wants to see us do that because we have no actual struggles. So for us to be like, I hurt too, everyone's like, go fuck self.
No. Who cares? Yeah. Okay, Brendan, you have to leave soon. We have one final segment. I think we can blaze through it.
Let's blaze.
Okay, let's blaze. We're going to move on to Spike Club.
Spike Club.
I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Spy Club! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Spy Club! Fuck!
I'll tell you what my Spike Club is, man. It's the fucking everything is USB everything has a USB plug now. You got to we have so many plugs sitting around our house. A, and then B, like I'm looking at a bike light, right? Because I got my new bike. And every single bike light is USB rechargeable. I just want something with just let me stick some batteries in it. So then like the light starts getting like I feel like a USB light it's just going to go out in the middle of my ride or something. Like a battery thing, it starts like getting like dimming a little bit and you're like, "Oh, better change the batteries." And then you know, it takes you like 3 weeks to do it after that moment. But the USB thing, it's just like and then like it's also the battery is inside the thing so that you just have to throw it away after a while because inevitably the battery will die. I'm done with these USB. Everything is USB rechargeable. You can't and even these headphones, like I can't rely on them to be charged. And if I need to use them and they're not charged, then I have to stick them in the wall for 5 hours. You can't just like, oh, okay, I'll put new batteries in. There's nothing you can do. You're just screwed with a USB rechargeable thing. Yep.
It is incredible. I know exactly what you mean. And eventually it'll be, because you're on a time budget, a ticking clock time budget for dozens of things.
Every item
all
in
at
your
the same time.
Yes. Yeah. Every item in your life
is all at different levels. So you're like you're working in a nuclear power plant where everything is you have to keep everything, all the plates spinning, or everyone's going to die.
Yes.
Eventually, people used to have tool sheds, but now they'll have sort of like USB charging sheds, and you go in. It'll be like the Hitchcock's The Birds, where it's just these like bleeping things that are coming slowly back to life, and it's just like quiet, creepy world.
It should just be an ionized world where you like throw your thing in there, and then it just like it just like gets charged.
Well, yeah, or you pass it through the cloud of rechargization.
Yeah.
If Tesla had won that arm wrestling match, we would all be. They would just be charging from the air.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's true. It'd be like lightning bolts shooting across the sky at all hours.
I mean, didn't Nikola Tesla invent the iPod or whatever the fuck, and it was rechargeable without a USB cord?
Essentially. Yeah. Fuck Steve Jobs. He was just ripping off Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. He found the Rambaldi device that Tesla left behind.
Exactly, the hand-cranked Rambaldi. What is your Spike Club, Brendan?
My Spike Club is the cacistocratic aesthetics of hot real estate contractor culture. Is that a cat?
That is a cat. Yeah, that cat wants to be let out, but she doesn't know that we're under the gun. I'm sorry, cat. Give me 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Walt, my dog, has had a cone around his neck since Wednesday, and he's losing his fucking mind.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, actually, here, why don't you talk? I'm going to let her out. I will be able to hear you from across the room.
Oh, with Bluetooth.
Yes.
Okay. So, but my Spike Club is the Cacistocratic. I can't remember what I said. We'll have to wind back the tape and go back to what I said. But basically, we live in a hot real estate market, and houses are flying off the shelves, and everyone is getting their house redone with the new finishes and the fucking subway tile galore and all the different bathrooms and things like that. And it is, and a lot of these houses have also, meanwhile, been Home Depot'd into oblivion. And so they have to be kind of un-Home Depot'd. And it all starts to feel arbitrary after a while. And there are some contractors that do it. And it's all very trendy, too. You know what I mean? So,
sure.
And there are some contractors that are like, why use actual river rock that will be timeless and ageless when you can use some like fake horse shit that you'll have to get swapped out, but it's cheaper and easier for me to install. And people are like, oh, I can save $5,000 now, but it'll have to be replaced in 10 years when I don't even own the house anymore. Sure. Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like in the Victorian era, houses were glorious. And even engines, when they built engines in the Victorian era, they molded these perfect S-cams and things like that had little flourishes on them. Why? No one would ever see them because it mattered. It mattered how you did things. And now everything is just so cheap and Home Depot and awful. And
yes,
even
disposable.
Disposable, and even the good shit is horrible. So then people are faced with, okay, I have three choices. The beautiful, expensive way, the fake, everyone wants it right now, trendy way, or the Home Depot way. And everyone chooses one of the second two. And the fake trendy one is basically as bad as a Home Depot. Like, yes, you get to have the fancy subway tile in your bathroom that everyone has right now. But then the subway tile, everyone will hate subway tile in 10 years. And then you try and sell your house, you're like, well, you're going to have to replace the subway tile. It's all a fucking racket, you know? But then there's the other side where my neighbors, and this is what I hate even more, and this is my actual Spike Club. My neighbors down 2 blocks down, they had all these houses around here, these gorgeous old bungalows and craftsmen that had river rock for everything, river rock walls. They had this river rock porch, right? And then some owner before them cemented over their river rock porch, just buried the river rocks with flat fucking cement. Because maybe the river rocks were cracked or they had to be pointed again or something like that. But they were like, well, we could do this for blah, blah amount of money. And I feel like you take on a house, don't fucking drink so many dirty 30s, save up the money and do it the right way. You know what I mean? They bury that river rock in cement. Or my house had the beautiful wooden slats, and wooden slats are a total pain in the ass. The house that we're going to get, the wooden slats are a mess, but they're wooden slats, and we can figure out how to fix them. You do it one at a time, you save up, you increment the thing, something like that.
A slat on a what? What's a slat? What do you do with a slat?
The wooden slats, versus stucco. Because most of the houses here, and this gets me to my fucking Spike Club, fucking stucco. Some asshole looked at, like, in the 70s and 80s, burned his way through Highland Park, and then was like, I stuccoed all of Highland Park. Because Highland
stucco
Park,
as far as the eye can see.
And it's stucco as far as the eye can see. Stucco is evil. But that salesman came out to the homeowners and they were like, it's really durable and it makes your house really shell and it's really hard. You'll never have to touch it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's do this. And so it makes me so upset because underneath this, we've been working on my house. Underneath the stucco was these gorgeous wooden horizontal slats. And so half the houses around here still have those wooden slats. Or shingles or whatever they are, long pieces, like cabin-y looking stuff. But most of them have been stuccoed over and like cement over the river rock and just make it just these little boxes on the hillside.
Disaster.
Horrible.
Disaster.
Horrible.
Yeah, we have stucco on our house, and I loathe it. It's horrible to paint. You're so limited in your aesthetic that you can do with this thing.
Yep.
Like it's just like it doesn't fit our house at all. Like there's no reason why. Like I think of like if you've got a little like Adobe like cute little like Spanish bungalow. Sure, it might work for that. But
Oh
like,
yeah, with the clay
that's-
tiles on the roof.
Yeah, that's not
That's what it's
living
meant
in.
for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm with you, man. There's like it's just the things that people have done to flip a house. Like
Ugh.
it's all aesthetics. It's nothing has anything to do with like quality or craftsmanship. It's just like, how do we like get it to look the way that people are wanting things to look right at this moment in time, right?
Yep, exactly. Right.
Yeah. It's tough. But I hope this new thing that you're trying to get into is not that. Like,
No, it is great. It has a lot of character and it's super cute and it's just awesome.
And bigger?
No, it's the same size.
Are you kidding me?
No.
It's the same square footage.
I say it has 100 more square feet, but it also has 100 square foot hallway, so it's all goes to the hallway.
Oh wow, fascinating.
But it has a back finished garage that is huge, and that will be the studio where we work and spend most of our time.
Yeah, that's another space. That's another living space. You can do something with that.
And this awesome backyard and stuff like that. So the house itself is tiny, but that's just for guests and meals. And most of our time will be spent in the back garage. And the back garage is 400 square feet, big square, vaulted ceiling.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fucking awesome.
That's another room. You're good. You got
Yeah.
plenty of room there.
Yeah, and that's where we'll have our desks and all that kind of stuff and watch movies.
I love it. I'm so excited for you. I hope it works out. I'm not going to jinx anything.
Thank you, knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I'm surprised that someone didn't already come in with $200,000 over asking price in cash.
Yeah, they should have. I'll tell you if it all goes through, and I won't actually really know. We would close on April 2nd. I'll tell you the whole story because the whole story is crazy. But I'll tell you.
Looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Brendan, we are right at the wire of your heart out, and I apologize for coming at you so hot off the.
Come at me, bro.
off
Come
the
at
front.
me, Dad.
We got to think of a good name for that segment.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do. But it was. I always appreciate your willingness to discuss matters both of heavy depth and the lightest of nothingness.
Ball undulation post shower.
Yes.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And I feel the same way about you.
Fantastic. Have a lovely week and good night to all of our listeners.
And Jesus Christ, will you subscribe to Jeff's tweets? It's the greatest part of the internet that ever was.
Oh, at Jeffrey D.
At Jeffrey D.
Is who I am. Still amazed that I've been on Twitter so long that I got that handle.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. That's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you, Brendan. That was a nice little ego boost. I needed it.
Good. You're welcome. You deserve
have
it.
a lovely Sunday. I will talk to you soon.
A biento.
Dad!